Welcome to it. This is your weekly SmackDown review. This week so happens to be the Go Home Show to Clash at the Castle, happening in Glasgow, Scotland. Now, as implemented by my boy Troy Yeager, I'm gonna give this show I'll give it a C. I'll give it a C. Now hear me out. Too many segments, matches weren't so great, but it was watchable. It was possible. It was possible. So C rating for this week's show, and let's get right into it. First and foremost, we open the show with Bayley coming out first to accompany her new best friend, Naomi. Naomi was taking on Chelsea Green, and she was, of course, accompanied by Piper Niven, who is in her hometown and who will be facing Bayley tomorrow night at Clash at the Castle. The match was very standard, as you'd expect. Naomi picked up the victory, and it was okay, man. It was a women's match. I mean, unfortunately, we're at that point now where if women's matches are great, then it's new, you know, it's a surprising occurrence. But this just happened to be one of those. It ended. But Naomi did pick up the win against, of course, Chelsea Green. Also, Chelsea Green has Chelsea Green in her entrance theme. Shout out Samantha Irvin. We're not giving Def Rebel any credit. Shout out Samantha Irvin. I like that addition. But Samantha was there on SmackDown. So the theme said Chelsea Green. And Samantha said Chelsea Green. It was a bit too much. But because Samantha's not on SmackDown, it makes sense. I like it. Sorry. Back to the show. We then had a Baron Corbin segment. Baron Corbin seems to be this upstanding babyface, who is kind, you know. He's nice to general managers. This segment he was with Nick Aldis. They were having a conversation. Lo and behold, Legado del Fantasma walked in and they disrupted Baron Corbin's meeting. That's going to play a part later on, but Nick Aldis told Santos Escobar that after attacking Apollo Crews last week, Apollo Crews is fit, he's back, he's ready to fight, and we will have Apollo Crews versus Santos Escobar tonight on SmackDown. We then had another segment, which was the Grayson Waller effect, and the guests of Grayson Waller and Austin Theory were DIY. Now, this whole segment is to plant seeds for a possible either Grayson Waller turning on Austin Theory or an Austin Theory face turn. But they played footage from last week where Grayson Waller dragged Austin Theory into the way of Johnny Gargano's suicide dive, and Theory got the worst of that exchange. Even on this week's episode, Theory got clocked and Grayson Waller walked away scot-free. But there was a moment where Johnny Gargano looked at Theory and said, "You know me, I know you, and I know that this guy is using you." And Theory had that face throughout the entire segment of, maybe these good guys are right. Maybe these good guys see something that I don't really see. And there were a bit of tension eyes going between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. So that's something we need to look forward to. They are still the tag team champs, so it's going to be interesting to see how they work around that. We then finally had Santos Escobar versus Apollo Crews. Of course, we had Angel, Humberto, and Elektra Lopez accompanying Santos Escobar. And the match was good. The match was good up until... Anyway, as the match was going on and as, of course, the heels were distracting the face, Baron Corbin came out. Came, beat Angel up, beat Humberto up. It was crazy. The crowd was going crazy. The crowd was going happily. And then Humberto and Angel just disappeared. I think they went backstage. They went to go get a glass of water. Relaxed. Then came back and beat up Baron Corbin. I just don't understand. I don't understand some of the things that WWE books. Like, it was two of them against Baron Corbin. They had to go backstage, then come back later on. Anyway, Santos Escobar did get the victory against Apollo Crews, and that means Legado del Fantasma comes out on top. I don't know what this means for Baron Corbin. I don't know what it means for Apollo Crews. I've never known what anything means for Apollo Crews, but that's the situation at hand. I guess the only answers will come later on. And that was the match. Quite average, but I like Apollo, I like Santos, so it was digestible. It was digestible. We then had the WWE champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, coming out for his face-to-face confrontation with AJ Styles. Now AJ told the boys, the Good Brothers, get to the back. I'm cool. Let me talk to this brother face to face, man to man, and that's what they did. And oh my goodness, they went off. They went off. I look forward to the I Quit match. They threw shots. They really did throw shots. The line that stands out to me now at the top of my head was AJ Styles saying, "Bro, you're a quitter. You quit New Japan, you quit ROH, you started a company with your boys, you quit that." And Cody just saying, "You know what, I don't quit, I bet on myself, and clearly I made the right decision because here I am with the biggest prize in the sport." Like, they were going back and forth. I'm sure there are some jabs that I missed, verbal jabs that I missed, that I didn't really note down because I was too in the moment. But that promo, that segment was great. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to that I Quit match. We then had Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax, taking on Michin, who seems to be losing on every brand in the WWE. Spoiler alert, she lost again this week. And I don't know. Again, it was just another women's match, and this one was a bit worse than the first because Tiffany Stratton was on commentary, and Tiffany threw water at Michin because Michin threw coffee at Nia Jax. So it looks like Tiffany Stratton is trying to be friends with Nia Jax, but Nia Jax is too focused on the women's championship. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is going on in the women's division. But point is, Michin lost to Jada Parker, and then she lost to Nia Jax. Jada Parker on NXT. And then SmackDown, she just lost to Nia Jax. So I don't know what they're doing with Michin, bro. I have no idea what they're doing with Michin. But for Nia Jax, though, she needs to keep up the momentum. She needs to be the big bad heel that we know she is. She needs to keep the momentum. And hey, if we get to SummerSlam and she's crowned champ, you won't hear complaints from me, trust me. I'm liking this new and improved Nia Jax. Loving it. So yeah, Nia Jax picks up the win against Michin. We then had a very weird segment of Logan Paul coming back home in his Puerto Rico mansion and finding LA Knight in his swimming pool. Anyway, LA Knight still on the case of Logan Paul seeking that championship match, which we'll probably get at like SummerSlam in Cleveland. And yeah, I don't know, man. LA Knight is just a bit iffy for me right now. I like Logan Paul, but I wish we saw him more often. So I don't really know what to make of this entire situation. But yeah, Logan Paul arrived home, saw LA Knight on a floaty in his pool. It's just very confusing. But Logan Paul obviously told LA Knight to get the hell out of his house, which he did. But he was on the phone. I can't remember what that whole situation was about, but yeah, that's what happened. We then cross over to the arena where we had Carmelo Hayes in the crowd cutting a promo saying to the crowd that he has declared, or he is declaring, for Money in the Bank. And he said he's not going to beg for opportunity. He's going to win the Money in the Bank match and obviously then hopefully become world champion. That's what he said. And he also said he can't wait to be Mellow in the Bank. Anyway, that happened. And then we had another segment, because of course we did. This time it was Tama Tonga, Tangaloa and Solo Sikoa making their way to the ring for the main event, where Nick Aldis said, "Hey buddies, Tama, Tanga, you guys, remember what you did earlier on in the evening?" Because earlier on in the evening we had a segment, of course, where Tangaloa and Tama Tonga took out the Street Profits, and the Street Profits were out of action. So Kevin Owens didn't have anyone to watch his back for the main event against Solo Sikoa. But Nick Aldis is like, Tamalonga, Tangaloa, Tamasonga, whatever their names are, you guys are banned from ringside for the main event. And that became an issue, and then Solo Sikoa said, "Bro, if I lose this match, it's on your head, saying that to Paul Heyman. So Paul Heyman was really scared because, I don't know, I think Solo was gonna decapitate him or something if he lost. Anyway, we did eventually have that main event. It was 1-on-1. Solo Sikoa, of course, accompanied by Paul Heyman against Kevin Owens. And for all that it's worth, for all this show has been, for everything that we've seen on this episode of SmackDown, that match saved the show. You can't go wrong with the Kevin Owens match. But when you add the intensity of the new tribal chief Solo Sikoa, they hit each other. They hit each other hard. It was a hard-hitting match. The crowd loved it. The crowd was behind it. Just side note, European crowds, bro. Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We really need more international PLEs because the international crowds are insane. Same goes for this week's audience. Anyway, eventually Kevin Owens went to the outside, almost put Paul Heyman through the announce table, didn't, got one Samoan spike on the outside by Solo threw him back in the ring, got another Samoan spike by Solo, 1, 2, 3, and that was the end of the match. Tamalonga, Tangatoa, whatever their names are, then came out, started beating up on Kevin Owens, and it was like, oh my goodness, the Profits are out of commission, who's gonna help Kevin Owens? And lo and behold, it was the Viper, Randy Orton. Randy Orton returned, assisted Kevin Owens, hit an RKO on Tangaloa, I think it was, and yeah, they hugged it out. I think WWE are going full force with this RKO tag team, and I like it. I like it. Both men are good. Both men have good complementary skills. Both men know how to work well with other people. And so I'm really down for this tag team. But that is how we closed off the show, with Randy Orton standing with his tag team partner Kevin Owens. And that is how we sign out for this week's episode of SmackDown. I am looking forward to Clash at the Castle happening tomorrow. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. And look, like I said, SmackDown was a bit meh, but of course you can't have like Cody Rhodes or AJ Styles wrestling. You can't have Piper Niven or Bayley wrestling because they're going to be wrestling at the PLE. So for what it's worth, the show was decent, the show was digestible. We're looking forward to the main event tomorrow, of course, that being Clash at the Castle. And of course, one of the Stomp Boys will be back with the review after that PLE because it's luxury, bro. We're watching it live here in South Africa. It's luxury. But until then, it's been your boy, the Beanie Boy, and only the Beanie Boy. And we'll check you on the next one.